Hello and good morning to all of you. Thank you for being here today. Today's conversation is going to be about the purpose of emails. You see, email templates that can build trust and drive action is the conversation. So, the idea is that we can reduce communication stress, make our emailing more easier and not louder, learning about emails that actually people read. And idea is to create clarity over confusion. There are no marketing tricks, just calm, clear communication. So, um, it's not about writing, it's not a writing problem, creating clear emails, right? It's not about um, writing too much emails. Oftentimes, when you write emails, right, you're writing them the night before. I'm just talking about myself, people. And so before we get too tactical, I want to reset how we think about emails, right? I know you dread emails, not because, there are some things that have to be communicated. It's not about hating your customers or your staff members, but because email feels like one place where things can go wrong. So my goal is today is to help create a few templates which create a calmer relationship with your communication with your student, with your audience, be that internal or external. Now, when do most people write emails? Late at night, between classes, after a difficult conversation, when we are tired. Emails written under stress tend to sound stressed, even if we don't mean them to be. So, if your emails feel heavy, long, or tense, that's not a character flaw, it's the context that is created based on the situation. Now, let's take a look at this from parents' perspective. Your email doesn't land into an empty mailbox, right? It's in a land of chaos. Parents are scanning emails asking one thing: do I really need to deal with this right now? And if they can't answer that question quickly, they postpone, and postponed emails don't get addressed. So, the purpose of the email is what we have to revisit. This is a big reframe. Studio emails are just about Studio emails are not just about information, they're about reassurance. Parents want to know, is my child okay? Is the studio organized? Am I missing something? When emails calm people, action becomes easier. So, so in my mind, I like to write three types of studio emails between the um, work that we run. Every email you send has a job. Problem happens when we forget to assign it one, right? So, informational emails orient people. Relational emails build trust and emotional safety. And action based emails ask for one specific step. Most email frustration comes from mixing these together. You have to be very careful. Informational, relational, and action based. Now, why mixing email types fails? Think about emails that says, here is an update, also payment is due. Also remember, there's a recital that's up and coming, and based on the policy, you have to do this, that, and the other. Parents don't know what matters most, so nothing feels urgent. So they decline. As I always say, clarity creates action, confusion creates delay. So, one email, one job. Before I send out any emails, I ask this question: what is the one thing I want them to do? This is the most important rule I coach my teams to follow. Before you send an email, what is the one thing I want them to do or not do? If the answer is funny, or if the answer is fuzzy, the emails will be too. Yeah. So shorter emails are not unprofessional. In fact, they're respectful. So shorter emails, in my mind, build trust. And these days, with usage of AI, people say, okay, let's write longer emails. No. For example, this email that I send out to building the network for Smart Studio Circle, I mean, keep in mind, we use a lot of emailing, right? And when we do, what happens? You either unsubscribe or you look at it and say, topic is important to join, I'll join. So the amount of information I try to put in that email is the 5 W's and the how. What is the topic? When is it? How to join? What will be covered? So you can look at the email, glance at it and say, yeah, no, I want to join or not. So you see, we have scheduled about 100 plus sessions for this year. And they're already published. The system will automatically email you if you subscribe to our network. And usually I'll send an email before an hour before the session as a reminder. So now, information emails generally will not have any actions. Now, how do I build trust? I give an example of my own email set that I send out for Smart Studio Circle. But in actual studios, what we do is we have to focus on the trust email framework and how it should work. Meaning, in other words, um, the framework should mirror how human process information. So your start should be a human start, not transactional. Explain why it matters. Not everything, but just the important things. State the next step clearly. So if there's an action to be taken, it can be taken. And then end with a reassurance. So the relationship stays intact. This is the framework I suggest using. And create templates because those templates work every single time. Template email work because structure doesn't change even when content does. And that creates some level of reassurance for your clients. Now, when I'm sending informational emails, here is kind of an example. So the subject will be something like this, and then we use this as a you can use this as a template in our workflow systems, right? In CircleRAM AI, because this template is powerful because it has less. There's nothing that you're asking for. There's no deadline. There's no pressure. The email dramatically reduces follow-up questions when used consistently. And parents trust studios that communicate with predictability, right? So, so this thing has a calm tone. There's no hidden request, predictable structure. And in my opinion, what I've seen is predictability builds confidence. Now, we have a template where action is required. So we clearly state one step needed for completing some transaction. Maybe they've enrolled, maybe something needs to be done, right? So this template seems to respect parents' time. One action, one date, one reason. There's no guilt, no apology for asking, right? Clear does not mean cold. It just means consider. Writing long emails takes up people time. So you want to avoid guilt language, over explaining, and apologizing for asking. This particular email it prevents problems before they start. Silence can create anxiety, especially during busy seasons, right? So a short reassurance email can save you dozens of reactive replies. It's kind of a leadership expression in written form, right? So now you can also provide, when you do updates on a weekly basis for the students, you can create a template where the teacher can send information automatically on a weekly basis regarding the updates for the students. So parents tend to worry when they don't hear from you. So this reduces panic. It lowers the emotional temperature and creates trust without being asked for anything. So I'm just giving some examples. Now, let's think about staff email. Burnout often starts internally. When staff communication is unclear, stress leaks outward to families. Clear, predictable staff emails calm studios. So this template sets tone without micromanaging. It communicates trust, clarity, and appreciation. Staff who feels oriented communicate better with parents. Now, we've talked about when to email, but we should also talk about when not to. when not to email. You see, it's not about restraining yourself. If you, as a studio owner, I tend to be very passionate and emotional, and I'm not apologetic for it. If it wasn't for my emotion and passion, I wouldn't be doing all what I'm doing. Let's be honest. But if it carries over into my communication in some negative way, I have to pause and ask. So, is the email emotional? Is when it's read, right? And if you're unsure about it, you can put that through ChatGPT and say, tell me the tone of this email before I send it out. If the ask isn't clear, rewrite it. If the message belongs in a system, not an inbox, then fix the system. Not everything needs an email. Not every thought needs to be email. Only certain things where actions are needed. So, email is a system and it can become exhausting when it's not improvised every time. Template turns communication into infrastructure, right? And templates save time, protect tone, and reduce emotional labor. It protects your energy. And when you have a system like CircleRAM AI, you can build this entire infrastructure in CircleRAM that AI without doing extra work. Because you already know who your customers are. You can email them, you can build templates, you can schedule them in workflows, and so on. Email becomes exhausting if it's not improvised every time. Templates are great, save time, tone, and reduce emotional labor. Maybe one big takeaway is that using technology can augment your work effectively. CircleRAM AI is created to reuse that work, personalize without rewriting, and see what messages actually land. Data replaces guesswork. So don't change everything today. Choose one template, shorten an email, clarify a message. Small shift compound quickly. Just like for Smart Studio, I know you don't want too many emails. You want clearer ones. And you don't need to carry communication alone. It can be, you can start from scratch in a mailbox, or you can just subscribe to CircleRAM AI and use some of our features. So guys, thank you for attending today and this time together. Please reuse what works and let's go with what doesn't. Do protect your energy as your studio depends on it. Okay? Have a good one and thank you. Take care. Bye everyone.